Yuri had always lived his life with one belief: anything that took too long wasn't worth doing. In school, he slept through every class without shame. Teachers lectured. Students took notes. Yuri rested his head on his desk and drifted into silence. Yet every test came back flawless. People wondered how he pulled it off. Some joked he must study in secret. Others assumed he had some quiet genius in him. Yuri never bothered to explain. Skimming a textbook once was enough for him. Sitting through 50 minutes of class felt like torture. He'd been that way since he was a kid. Everything in his life had to be optimized, trimmed, made efficient. Anything messy or slow made him uneasy. Anything that required patience irritated him. Deep down, he wished the world would give him a fast-forward button so he could skip everything that felt like a waste of time. At home, his father tried to bring warmth into his days the only way he knew how. Dinner. Almost every night, he served chicken wings with pride. They were cheap, filling, and comforting to him. Yuri hated them. Too many bones, too much mess, too much effort. But his father never stopped believing they were perfect just the way they were. They had the same exchange every night, his father praising the wings, Yuri tolerating them, neither realizing how many of these moments they had left. It was after one of those dinners that Yuri noticed something strange on his wrist, a watch he didn't remember putting on. Stylish, unfamiliar, almost out of place on him. Life went on the next morning. Tsukune, his childhood friend, ran up to him with her usual energy. She wanted to know if he had watched the drama she recommended. He had already finished it all, because he watched it at double speed. The line about a boy insisting his childhood friend was just a friend, while quietly hoping for more, lingered between them longer than either intended. But Yuri brushed past it. Just another moment in a long day he wanted to shrink. During class, overwhelmed with boredom, he pressed a button without thinking. Time shifted. The classroom didn't warp or break apart, but the world around him started moving differently. The lesson melted away at an accelerated pace. 50 minutes felt like half. When the bell rang, everyone packed up like nothing had happened. Only Yuri felt the distortion. He tested the watch again. Another tap, another rush of time slipping out from under him. The world stayed normal, but his experience didn't. He realized the fast forward applied only to him. Everyone else was locked into normal speed. Only he was allowed to jump. He didn't know how it worked, but he didn't need to. For someone who valued speed above everything else, this was more than a miracle. It was a shortcut through every nuisance he had ever hated. He fast-forwarded through waiting, through chores, through homework, through gaps in the day that felt pointless. Little moments disappeared first, and with them came something unexpected. He actually started enjoying his days more. Skipping all the tedious, unwanted parts made the remaining moments feel cleaner and more satisfying. Then the bigger moments began slipping away too. He fast-forwarded through anything that wasn't worth feeling, except Tsukune. With her, time felt different. Alive, warm, full. She noticed when he looked tired. She noticed when he didn't smile. She made the world feel like something worth slowing down for. So Yuri made a rule. Moments with her were the only ones he would experience at normal speed. Everything else became background noise. But the feelings he'd been hiding for years didn't disappear. Keeping them buried suddenly felt inefficient, like he was skipping a part of life that mattered. So one afternoon, after school, he finally told Tsukune how he felt, and she accepted him. She returned what he had been carrying alone. That night, after confessing to Tsukune, Yuri walked into a noisy dinner with his father, still overwhelmed by the feeling of being accepted. His father immediately sensed the change in him. He teased him, laughed louder than usual, and treated himself to a drink like he always did. He talked about how good beer felt after a long day, praising it with almost childish satisfaction. Yuri couldn't relate. To him, juice tasted better. Beer felt bitter, unnecessary, inefficient. His father tried explaining that the point wasn't the taste, it was the moment shared over it, the small ritual that made life feel warmer. Yuri didn't see the warmth at all. Sitting there, listening to him talk about alcohol and adulthood, Yuri felt the familiar thought tightening in his chest. This conversation wasn't worth experiencing at normal speed. So, without saying anything, he slipped back into the habit that had shaped his entire life. He fast-forwarded. It was one of the last normal dinners he ever had with his father. Yuri went straight to his room. Being in bed was one of the few moments he genuinely enjoyed. The warmth, the stillness, the soft sinking feeling that quieted his thoughts. He lay there thinking about Tsukune, about seeing her again the next day. The thought alone made time feel slow in a way he couldn't stand. Even bed, the one place he loved, couldn't compete with the pull of tomorrow. He wanted morning immediately. He didn't want the long, empty hours in between. Waiting felt pointless. So he fast-forwarded. The entire night vanished in an instant. No dreams, no hours, no sense of passing time. Just a jump from lying down to waking up. Before he realized it, he was doing this with everything, skipping minutes, then hours, then whole stretches of his life. And by the time he looked up, it was already a graduation. The fast-forward habit only grew stronger. College wasn't something he lived through, it was something he skimmed. He sped through lectures, assignments, commutes, long mornings, quiet afternoons, anything that wasn't tied to Tsukune. Days collapsed into blurs. Weeks folded into each other. Months vanished. He only allowed himself to slow down for the rare moments with her, and because of that, 4 years of his life shrank into what felt like a handful of scattered memories. Before he understood how much he'd erased, college was already over. On graduation day, Tsukune and his father celebrated with him. A small table, warm food, 2 people who cared about him more than he knew how to accept. His father talked more than usual. Loud, emotional, overflowing with pride in a way Yuri rarely saw. He told Yuri that seeing him reach this moment meant everything to him, that he was only able to make it this far in life because Yuri existed, because Yuri kept him going, because raising him gave his life purpose. He rambled about the future, about adulthood, about wanting Yuri to live without regret. All the things a father says when he finally sees his son step forward. But Yuri didn't hear most of it. All he wanted was to be alone with Tsukune. So instead of sitting through his father's heartfelt words, he quietly used the watch. He skipped long stretches of the celebration, skipping the things his father poured his heart into, just to get to the parts he wanted. After graduating, Yuri took a job close to home. Nothing special, nothing he cared about. An 8-hour workday became something he erased with a single click. Morning, fast forward. Evening, another blur. Life grew thin around him, empty. He noticed he used to enjoy things, games, hobbies, conversations. But adulthood, in his mind, meant filtering everything down to the moments that served a purpose. And the only purpose he valued was Tsukune. But even she began noticing the emptiness in his eyes. When they were together, he felt present. But to her, it seemed like he was fading. She asked if he was tired. He denied it. He didn't know how to explain that she was the only real moment left in his world. The night before their date, he lay in bed staring at the ceiling, waiting for the dark to pass. He wanted morning to come faster. He wanted the day with her. So he sped through the night without a second thought. When morning finally hit, he walked out of his room expecting another ordinary start. He called out to his father. Silence. He stepped into the living room and saw him on the ground, cold, still, gone. The paramedics explained everything gently. A stroke. More than 6 hours had passed since it happened. By the time anyone could reach him, it was too late. Yuri knew exactly why those 6 hours slipped by unnoticed. He had fast-forwarded through the moment his father needed him the most. His memories jumped. His last conversation with him was gone, skipped out of existence by his own hand. He realized he hadn't been optimizing anything. He'd just been avoiding everything. Painful things, troublesome things, things that required him to face himself. And even after learning the truth, he couldn't stop. Fast-forwarding hadn't made his life better. It had hollowed it out. Even now, even after realizing all of this, he felt the instinct to tap the watch again, to skip the pain, to run. It was the only way he had ever lived. He began fast-forwarding out of fear instead of convenience. He erased meals, days. Entire pieces of his life disappeared while he hid inside the sped-up blur of his own avoidance. Tsukune eventually came to see him. She found him motionless, pale, barely aware of the world around him. She didn't leave. She didn't scold him. She reminded him of a promise she made, one his father asked of her. She would take care of him, no matter what. She forced him out of the house, took him to eat, ordered drinks even though he didn't like them. She tried to pull him back into the world he'd abandoned. Slowly, he felt himself resurfacing. They ordered chicken wings, the food he always hated, the food his dad loved. He looked at them differently this time. The effort, the mess, the bones, all the things he used to find annoying suddenly felt meaningful. They reminded him of his father, of moments he had thrown away, of the life he had skipped. He realized something then. His father never praised the wings. He praised the trouble. Life wasn't meant to be clean or efficient. It was meant to be lived with all the parts that were difficult, inconvenient, and frustrating. That's what gave it weight. That's what made it real. Yuri finally allowed himself to feel the things he'd been avoiding. The grief, the regret, the fragile moments he'd skipped. He opened up to Tsukune about all of it. The running, the avoidance, the shortcuts that cost him everything. He admitted he'd been childish, someone who ran from effort, someone who half-assed everything, someone who avoided living. Tsukune didn't argue. She understood him. She always had. She knew, even when he didn't, that he had always devoted himself fully to one thing: her. It had been that way since they were kids. Devotion was the one part of him that wasn't hollow. So he made a promise. He would make her happy. Not quickly, not efficiently, but honestly. She slid a drink toward him, something stronger than he usually touched. Yuri looked at it for a long moment, then pushed it gently back. He said, in his own way, that he wasn't ready to enjoy it yet, that he'd leave it for a time when he was more deserving of it, when he could honestly say he'd stopped running. For the first time in years, Yuri lived every day at normal speed. He went to work without skipping it. He ate his meals without fast-forwarding through them. The days felt long, heavy, and awkward, but they were real. His watch long gone by now. When he met Tsukune again for their next date, a week has passed. He was different, tired, still guilty, still grieving, but present in a way he hadn't been for a long time. They ordered chicken wings. For the first time, he chose to live at normal speed. And as he sat there with her, tasting the wings, he finally understood. He felt something that had been missing for years. Life, real life, returning to him. He thought of his father, the meals they shared, the laughs he once fast-forwarded through, the words he could never hear again. Life, he realized, wasn't something to skip. It was something to feel. And with a quiet breath, he whispered into the world that his father had left behind. Life really is interesting, isn't it, Dad?